All right, hey guys, Cody here. Hey, I just posted in my stories on Instagram a diplomatic courier position with the State Department with Diplomatic Security Service, and I got a ton of hits, questions from people, probably around 25 or 30 so far. And so I wanted to just go ahead and make a quick video since this seems to be popular about being a courier. Before I start, I wasn't a courier. I know some old school couriers. I had a courier as a classmate, and I met some couriers in my time, my 9 years plus in DS. So I have a good idea what they do. Some things change, but the general mission doesn't change. So the intel I'll tell you, I'll give you, I think is pretty accurate. But I don't work for the department anymore. But this is what I got. So I'm going to go over the questions first in case you want to push through. So what does a courier do? What about the pay? Will it help you? Will it help me get into being a DS Special Agent? Any guidance on the SA portion, and what does it mean permanent after being tenured, which is in the screenshot that I put on Instagram. So what does a courier do? In short, provide secure transport for sensitive or classified items. So, the U.S. creates items like hardware, name it, you name it, computer hardware, technology that and more that needs to remain protected, right? So the engineers that create it probably have a classified, have a secret, have a clearance, and then at which point after it's made, it needs to be protected. So it should be in the hands of only people with clearances, and so all that stuff has to go overseas, and it needs to be escorted and secured by someone. And so that's what the couriers do. They have protocols in place. They take this equipment. There may be documents associated. And it may not just be just for State Department. It could be for other agencies that are out there. Because a lot of embassies have several different agencies that operate out of the embassy. And so they support that mission. They basically provide secure transport. So what does it look like? There are probably a number of different things they do, but the one I know of the most is, they'll coordinate with airlines. We have probably an MOU with different airlines, and they transit over to the airport. Let's say you're out of DC, probably go to Dulles. You watch it from start to finish, get on the plane. And then once it's loaded up on the plane, it's obviously got secure packaging and everything else. Then you hang out on the plane, fly to where you're going, and it doesn't come off the plane, so you got eyes on it again. Of course, I imagine, I think I've heard this before, but there are only certain airlines that we work with, particularly U.S. airlines, and so that's really what it consists of. You'll travel. Back in the day, guys are doing 3 weeks at a time. They might hit several different countries. Maybe you'll go longer. I don't know. It depends on the needs of the service, but you will get a good bit of travel in. I didn't look at the complete message, but I do know the places that couriers operate out of, or DC, or in Arlington, Virginia, outside the headquarters, at Fort Lauderdale, at Frankfurt, and in Bangkok, and there might be another one. I know Frankfurt services Europe and Africa, Bangkok, Asia, Fort Lauderdale is Latin America, and then DC might pick up the Middle East and a few other places. So anyway, that's the basics of what they do. They provide secure transport, and there's a number of ways they do that. So what about the pay? So even if you come in as a DS Special Agent, you're gonna come in at FS6 or FP6. So that's the same thing the couriers are offering you guys. No matter how much experience you have, you can be freaking Navy SEAL with a ton of experience, and you're gonna come as FS6. Now they might give you a step. They might step you out a certain amount. Usually is FS6 step 4 or 5 or 6 if you're a former Fed, or if you're current Feds. Excuse me. They'll basically not ladder you over, but when you transfer over, you'll step out so you can get your same pay. But if you're not, you'll come in at FS6, FP6, and you'll get paid what you get paid now. What I want to add is that there's a ton of travel and there's a ton of good money. So when you travel, if you're 3 weeks on per diem and you're living in nice lodging, everything's paid for, and you make $190 a day per diem, you're out for 3 weeks, and you want to eat a meal, a couple meals that are $10 a piece, then you're going to be saving a lot of money. So there's ways to do it. So you'll make a good bit of change. I don't know how much, because you don't get you don't get the law enforcement pay like you do as a DS agent, but you'll still make a good bit of money. If you're living in Bangkok or Frankfurt, you're gonna get free housing, which means hardly any bills, particularly related to housing. And then you're gonna also get cost of living that's out there. And like for Bangkok, you get differential pay, which is just kind of like not hardship pay, but just it's different living overseas. So in some places you get differential pay. That's not what differential pay means. Different, but anyway. Will it help you get into being a DS agent? So no and maybe. No is you won't lateral directly over. It's not a foot in the door where I'm in DS, now I'm just going to become a special agent. You're still going to have to go through the whole diplomatic security screening process to become a special agent. Everything from the online portion to the exam, the interview, the PT test, everything. So it's not a lateral. The DS position, the special agent position, is law enforcement. So and the courier is not. With that said, it's certainly good to have on your resume, not only because you're in the security field, so that gives you more security experience, but you're also in the State Department at this point. You're understanding the culture. You'll probably mingle with some DS agents or other people in the State Department. You'll learn more about different jobs in the State Department. You'll kind of know what DS and the State Department does and looks for. So I think it's advantageous in that regard. In addition, once you're in state and you have a state clearance, say you were to get accepted as a DS special agent, your timeline when you get on the register is going to be way faster than everyone else's. Just because you might have guys that never had a clearance, guys and girls never had a clearance, or a military clearance, which the reciprocity aspect takes a long time. So they'll have to do these investigations, which could take 9 months or more. Well, if you already have your clearance because you're with with the State Department already, then should you get accepted into DS, you get on the register, you get a conditional offer, boom, you'll be on the register pretty quick. In which case, that's just better for you because the sooner you get in, if you all know about the registers, you tick down, right? So you got a score, you're up here, but if people keep interviewing, they get a higher score than you tick down. So you want to get off that register as soon as you can so people don't pass you up. So in that regard, I think it's advantageous. Any guidance on the essay portion? So with this essay and with the DS Special Agent essay, keep it simple. Don't get all fancy. Don't use all creative language. Intro, body, conclusion. So, and let's break it down. Intro is, here's what I'm going to talk about. Body is, here's me talking about it, and it can be however many paragraphs you need. I'd say no more than 3 because you make 3 points. That's a good thing. And then your conclusion. Remember your conclusion. Keep it simple. Here's what I talked about, and here's my findings, or here's my thoughts. Okay, and that's it. Intro, body, conclusion. But that's the easiest way. I've been in college, done everything, and when it was broken down to me like that, intro, here's what I'm talking about. Body, here's me talking about it. And conclusion, here's what I talked about, and here's my findings. Keep it simple like that, and you'll be good to go. Finally, what does it mean permanent after being tenured? So if you saw the screenshot and if you look at the open announcement on USA Jobs, you'll see that it says permanent after being tenured. So that's normal. It's not that it's not permanent. You're not a contractor. You're not going to come in and just get tossed. It's really hard to terminate someone from government. But after tenure, it's even harder, nearly impossible. And so what tenure comes, I think it's around 5 years or so. You usually been a 4 level, going to 3, or you're a 3 level. I think it's about 5 years and you get tenure. Most people get tenure. Very few people don't get tenure. So don't think you're going to come into this job and then just, you find it you like and they're just going to cut you. It's likely, very likely not going to happen that way. I want to go back. I missed a point on pay. So you come into FS6, but you get promoted all the way to a 4 within a couple years. So I don't know the exact timeline, but it's a non-competitive promotion. So within a year or 18 months, I think it's a year, you get your 5. And then within another, say, year or 18 months, you get your 4. And then you become competitive. And you're competitive against other couriers, and maybe I know with DS Special Agents you're competitive with everyone, but I suspect they have slots in the courier as well. And you can't have too many threes, twos, ones, or whatever walking around. So, um, but it's a position. It's not a contract position, and it's not a time limit on the position. If you do good work, you're going to be fine. Really hard to get anyone to kick anyone out of government. So that's basically it. Provide secure transport for stuff. Nothing high speed, but it's pretty cool. I mean, especially if you like to travel. A lot of these places you'll get a couple days downtime too. So you'll go to one spot and you can set it up that way. Government's pretty easy about that. You set it up that way. I want to have a rest day or two. You set up your rest days. You get to sleep in. You get to go see some things, do some things before you head on to your next assignment. So generally, they have a lot of leeway and flexibility on how they perform their duties. So that's it. Anyway, I just came up with this quickly because I saw a lot of the interest. So apply. And one of the things was, I should I apply because of this, that, and the other? Apply. I mean, why not? If you get accepted, then you really evaluate. It won't hurt you getting more experience in applying to the State Department or applying to a government job. It's State Department's really different from other applications, but it's all experience to put on your belt and applying and writing and everything else. So I don't see any reason not to. And there's no ding on you if you apply and you don't take it. Someone asked me, it's another question. Someone asked me, can I have two applications at once, one for courier and one at the same time if a DS Special Agent announcement opens? Yeah, shit, have three, however many you want. If you get chosen for all of them, great. Pick which one you want. That's a good deal. So I would say just apply for it. What else? I think that's it. If you got any more questions, just write them here or hit me up on Instagram. That's where I'm most active, and I'll reply to you on there. What else? That's it. So I have CodyParron.com. Catch my podcast. No, podcast isn't there anymore. Podcast is the Off the X podcast. It is on Spotify. It's on Google Podcasts and Apple Podcasts. You can get my book on CodyParron.com. You can get some apparel on CodyParron.com. I fund all this myself, so you buying apparel or a book helps out with everything from paying for a domain or for ShipStation or you name it. It supports keeping this all going and motivated me to keep it going. So appreciate the support. A ton of you have reached out and have said you read the book and it's helped you make a decision in your career. And good, I'm here to be helpful. So give me a shout if you got any questions. Thanks, y'all. Out.